everyone, welcome back to today's video. For today, I'm going to be showing you a really fun card using the Simply Succulents bundle. So the Simply Succulents stamp set along with the potted succulents dies. And we are really focusing on the dies. So you could get away with using a different stamp set because we're only using a sentiment from the stamp set. But I wanted to use the bundle because I had it. So before we jump into it, I apologize for not posting last week. Life just got crazy and I literally had no brain capacity to do anything other than like work my day job, eat some dinner, and sleep. And I showered in between all of that also, and you know, like the normal being a human adult kind of things. But other than that, I literally had no brain capacity. So I'm happy to be back today though. So I really wanted to focus on this die here from the set because it's really fun, it's really bold, it's really big, and it makes it super easy to make a card. So I'll talk to you about how I kind of did that and here in a bit, but because this die, well, actually, you know what, let's just talk about it right now. So I already cut this out so that you guys didn't have to watch me cut it. And I'll show you, put this back here so you can see it a little bit better. So what I did was I took a piece of basic white cardstock, and I will have all of the dimensions and everything in the coordinating blog post, which will be the first link below because I just don't remember right off the top of my head. But I cut the piece to the size that I wanted. I made sure to put some of our adhesive sheets on the back. That's a must for a project like this because what ends up happening is you are just left with this very, very intricate piece here, and it's going to be impossible to get adhesive on the back of here without it being a complete mess, at least for me, because that's just how I roll. So I cut my piece of paper first and I cut it to be the exact size that I want so that it would fit the die perfectly. Then I put the adhesive sheets on the back and then I put the die on top of the paper. You can see here I have some washi tape here because I wanted to make sure it stayed really nice and centered. So I got this really pretty border. Some of the pieces already fell out. What I've noticed with this die while using the adhesive sheets is the pieces in the middle don't really pop out very easily. They are really stuck to the sheet. They do cut through all the way, so you can, like, I can pop any of these out, but they really come out when you peel that adhesive back. And because I didn't want to peel it back yet because we're not using it, that's why none of these pieces have been popped out, but they should come out really easily when we go to adhere everything. So this was really what I wanted to start with and how I kind of got to this point. I just put this together first so that you didn't have to kind of watch me fumble around with it because it does take a few minutes and I just wanted to kind of get into the project. But this is really what I wanted the focal point to be. I wanted to have this nice white outline of all of these succulents, and it actually looks really cool when it's all said and done. So now let's move our Rococo Rose out of the way. And so now I have another piece of basic white here. I have Just Jade ink. Sorry, that was probably really squeaky and it didn't sound great in my ears, so I'm sure it did not sound great in the video. So we have Just Jade and Rococo Rose. Let me try to move things around a bit so you can see them a little bit better. And so what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to bring in a couple of our new blending brushes. So if you have not seen these before, I did use them in a video. I can't remember which video I used them in, but I did use them in a video before. But if you haven't seen these, and here I'll grab, do I have a clean-ish one? Yeah, this one's clean. So if you haven't seen these, I believe they come in a pack of 3. Yes, they come in packs of 3. And it's just this brush that has all of these little teeny tiny bristles in it. They're super soft. I love just like playing around with them because they're super soft. But if you've never played with blending brushes before, they're really fun and easy to do fun techniques with. And so I wanted, when I was trying to put this together, I wanted some like more muted tones and colors for my succulents. And so I thought, you know what, it would be really cool to blend a bunch of colors together, a couple colors together to get this background that I'm going for. And so it just ended up working really, really naturally based on what I had in my head. The one thing that I wanted to mention about the brushes, and it's one thing that some of you watching this may have had this conversation with you, but I've had a couple people reach out and like, man, they come in a pack of 3 and like I'm supposed to buy one brush for every single color I have. So I wanted to kind of talk about that really fast. So no, you absolutely don't have to. You can if you want to. Obviously, I am not. what I do is I stick to color families. So this is like my pink brush. And when I do this, you can see that none of the color actually comes off on my page. So I can use this on another pink ink, right? Or with another pink ink, because it's not transferring any color. Maybe like a little teeny tiny bit, but it's not much. And like this one, I just use it for my greens, because if anything transfers, it's already going to be a green tone. They also are washable, so you can rinse them off. I'll be honest, I've never rinsed mine since I've had them. I just keep them in the same color family, and then I don't really have to worry about it. So I have 6, and the 6 that I have, I can pretty much manage with. So enough of me blabbing. Let's go ahead and start using these. So I'm going to start with Rococo Rose, and I like to do just a little bit off on my bottom sheet first, and then go into my piece of basic white. And really, honestly, I am not thinking too much about it. I'm just kind of going in. I know that I want to have the pink and the green in here, and I'm going to kind of muddy them together a little bit to get some different shades. I definitely want more pink than I want green, which is why I'm starting with pink and kind of laying that down first, and then the green is going to go in as kind of like a supplemental color. But you can see all I do is I just dab it into my ink pad a couple times, blot it off so that I don't get a ton of direct ink and I can have a little bit more control. And then I come in and I just kind of put it down. It's super, super simple. And you can, I mean, don't get me wrong, you can do like a super dark color like this, but I really like using them for more of like a very whimsical kind of wash of color type look, if that makes sense. So now I'm going to take my other brush and I'm going to go into my Just Jade, and I'm really going to pounce it off, because again, I don't want a lot of that green. I just want hints of green. So I'm going to get a lot of ink off so that I can, again, have a lot of control as far as what I am actually putting into my piece. So you can see here where it's just the Just Jade, it's very bright and vibrant, but when I start to blend it a little bit with the Rococo Rose, it's definitely more of a muted tone, and that's really what I'm going for. So again, I get a lot of that ink off, and I'm just barely going at it. And then you just kind of keep doing this until you find something that you like. I will definitely go over some of these green areas with the Rococo Rose just to mute it down a little bit more. But you can see you just get these really, really fun blends when you use these brushes. And I think it's fun. I really like it. And it's very... I don't want to use the word whimsical. Whimsical is not the word I'm looking for. It's very like feathery kind of, and very light and airy. I think maybe airy is the word that I'm looking for. It's just very fun and easy. So now you can see I went over those really bright green areas with my Just Jade. And it really, with my Rococo Rose, and it really just tones it down a bit. I definitely think that I want some of these areas to be a bit darker with the Rococo Rose, so I'm just going to go over them again and just make sure I have lots of color. Now again, this is going to be a background piece, so I would say just have fun with it. Let it be a little bit abstract and just kind of go at it. You can definitely look at your cut piece or the die as you're kind of doing it to see, like, maybe I want there to be like a succulent up here that's green or whatever. But like I said, for me, I'm just having fun with it. I'm just kind of doing whatever and just getting some color blends that I like, not necessarily worrying about where exactly the pockets of color are. Okay, so I'm good here. I'm going to stop. I'm going to put my little blending brushes away. I love those things. If you guys haven't tried them, I would just recommend grabbing a pack of them. Grab 3 of them. I promise you will not regret it. They're really, really, really fun to work with. Okay, so now that we have our background piece done, we're going to take this, set that guy off to the side. I do want to go ahead and do our sentiment here. I'm going to stamp this with you, but we are going to be using the Whisper White craft ink. And if I've mentioned it in videos before, but if you have not seen those, craft ink, you definitely have to let it dry. even like the piece, I literally stamped this piece over a week ago and it's probably still not even totally dry. But I wanted to show you how I stamp with craft ink because it can be a little difficult to work with sometimes. So I have a piece of Just Jade cardstock here. I am using my Stamparatus. I would say I don't know that I ever use craft ink without using my Stamparatus. And I'll show you why. So I'm going to ink this up. And like I'm telling you, I just re-inked this ink pad. So it is super, super juicy. There's tons and tons of ink in this ink pad. So I'm going to go ahead and take this and I'm going to stamp it once. And it doesn't look too bad like that, right? Okay. But as this dries, it is going to dry less and less opaque. Or less and less vibrant, I guess is probably the word I should use. Not opaque. It is very opaque. It's just not super vibrant. So here, let me zoom in just a little bit. So you can see it's really like a bright, vibrant white right now. It's not going to stay this shade. So I go in and I stamp it probably, I would say like 5 times maybe. And then I leave it. And what you will find when you leave it, I'm going to move this out of the way. This is what you end up with. So like I was saying, here, I'll pull this one back. Remove my magnets and try not to get my fingers in the ink. So you can see this one, the one that we just did, it definitely looks more vibrant, but once it sets and the ink absorbs into the paper, it takes on the hue of the paper, and so it's just not as vibrant. So that's why I do it a few times to get as much vibrancy in there as I possibly can. And then you really want to make sure you let this sit because it is going to take a while for that craft ink to dry. I'll be honest, I'm impatient, and the only reason I let this sit for so long is because I didn't have time to film this video last week. So you may just get some residual ink when you go to cut this out. I am going to be using this little die. This is also from the Potted Succulents die to cut this out. It's super easy to do. It's really quick, really tiny little piece. You could do any, you could use any die that you have. I'm just using that one because I thought it was cute. And I am using my mini cut and emboss because this is a small piece. For the succulent, the outline of the succulents, you do need to use the regular cut and emboss for that one. It is too big. The die is too big to go through the mini. So, oops. What am I doing? There we go. Just crank this through. I am telling you, I've mentioned this in my last few videos. I love this little mini, and I was not going to get it to start because I was like, I have the big one. Why do I need the little one? You need the little one. You do. Okay, so this is our little sentiment. And now let's bring it all together. So I'm going to set that off to the side. I'm going to bring in the piece that we just put our ink on, and I'm going to take this and I'm going to take all of the adhesive off the back. Gotta find my take your pick tool. There it is. It was where it was supposed to be. Imagine that. So I am going to literally just start peeling the backing off of this. And like I was saying, you can see all of the little inner bits come up with the backing. And now I need to find this one. Okay. And then again, peeling all of these up with the backing. There are some left here, obviously, so let's just punch those bad boys out really fast because we don't want those. And there are a lot of little pieces, like this piece here. You can't see it because I'm not zoomed in far enough, but there are little tiny pieces that you want to make sure that you have poked out also because you will see them in your final product. Here, I'll zoom in a little bit, but you can see it just creates this really, really pretty, it's almost kind of like succulent lace, I want to say is what it kind of looks like to me. It just creates this really intricate pattern that I think is so pretty. And you can do this technique also where I'm just putting my finger here and then it gets all of the little inner bits. But then you have to take them all off of your fingers. Okay, so let's trash all of these pieces. Get them all off of my fingers so we can put this project together. Maybe. they're not coming off. It's also kind of funny that this is just like my commentary. You can't actually see what's happening over here. It always makes me laugh. Okay, we are good to go now. So what we are going to do is I have this sticky side up because I've just found that to kind of center this, it's a little bit easier to stick it down than it is to try to put the adhesive down onto your back piece, if that makes sense. So I am just ever so delicately going to line this up, and I just kind of tap down on a couple of the edges to make sure that it is centered and that I don't have some of the back piece peeking out through any of the sides, and I don't think I do. If I just need to adjust this little side. There we go. Perfect. And honestly, it may look or sound a lot harder than it is. It's really not difficult to put this piece together, I promise. And look at how pretty that is. So you can see that those kind of like muted tones and having just a random pattern of color really pops when you put the fun die on top of it. I think it looks gorgeous. I love it. And using those adhesive sheets make it so easy to adhere. Like it's done. It's put together. I'm ready to go. So now I'm going to take my piece of Rococo Rose. Let's fold that in half. Let's get some seal going here. And we're going to center this right here. Oops. That was not centered in any way, shape, or form. That's why you always check before you really stick it down. That is pretty good. And this is kind of a weird size and like dimensions because of the size of the die. So now we're going to take our little sentiment here. We're going to get some dimensionals. And then pop that right there. And then I'm going to do something a little extra. So you could absolutely leave it here. And I think it's a gorgeous card. Nothing that you have to do. But again, I'm going to be a little extra. And I'm going to take, maybe if I can get them open. I am going to take these champagne gems. Actually, what are champagne rhinestone basic jewels is the technical name of them. I call them champagne gems. I'm sorry. And I'm going to grab my putty tool and I'm just going to put some of these gems all over the piece here. And I'm just going to be really random about it. There's nothing specifically that I'm trying to do. Just kind of going at it and having fun. And really, it's just to kind of zhuzh up the card a little bit. I felt like there was something missing with it and I wasn't sure what it was. And then I added these jewels and I just felt like it really helped make it pop a little bit. So that's why I did it. Trying to just look and see. I think that's actually pretty good. I think I like it just like that. So that is our really fun card for today. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. It's really fun, really easy. Play with the blending brushes. Play with these really fun dies. They are amazing. So I hope you really enjoyed this project. As always, you can find all of these products and purchase them 24/7 just by going to littlemooncreation.stampinup.net. You can also check out the coordinating blog post for this video, which is the first link in, throwing things around now. The first link in the description box below is the coordinating blog post, which will have like all of these products, paper sizes, all of the specifics that you need to recreate this yourself. Or you can just head over to littlemooncreation.com, which is just my website, and I have all kinds of fun stuff going on over there. So I hope you are having a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!